Just put a note in the chat. For those, so let's make sure everybody's mission record. We'll start with a question from Evan Petzold from the Free Press.
Yeah, AJ, Harold Castro just delivering again with a single there. First off, just Miguel, with him coming out of the game, was that just precautionary because of the rain? And then also too, your thoughts on Harold's at bat there?
Yeah, so Miggy came out with his back tightened up a little bit, so we were going to be very conservative with him and put in Harold at short and move the wheel around. Willie goes to second, and Scopey goes to first. So yeah, we are going to take precautions with him. I think he's fine, but getting Harold in there obviously paid off later with the single is all we needed with Robbie's stolen base and an opportunity to put the ball in play, and good things can happen. So I thought Harold did a good job, especially getting ahead 2-0, couple of breaking balls, got Kimbrel back in the count. But second time this year he's been able to fight off a 2-strike pitch against Kimbrel, two different teams. But it's nice to see Harold up to bat when something's on the line.
And you had mentioned trying to get Ian Kroll, some work and some bigger opportunities. How nice was it to be able to get him in this game and then see what he can do there with the 2 punch outs?
Sure. I mean, I think all 3 guys that came out of the pen are in somewhat uncharted waters with how they've been used this year. Hutch being the most experienced, I think you can pitch him anywhere. It doesn't matter. He's going to be fine. But Ian coming in a tight game, Hutch got his couple innings. Alex Lang with his first save. So all 3 of those guys threw the ball well. Ian set the tone coming out in the 6th and getting his outs before the top of the lineup rolled around. I thought that was key.
And then what did you see from Matt today too? I mean, it seemed like after that 3rd inning, maybe he could have folded there a little bit, but bounced back really nice, but also too had the rough 3rd inning. So what did you make his performance?
Yeah, no, a little bit of everything from Matt today. I don't think he was particularly sharp. The 1st inning I thought was tremendous. He threw a ton of strikes and really got into the game fine. When they got him for a few runs, it starts with some walks and then there's the big hit. And you're right, he could have caved and he didn't. He went back out there, put up a couple zeros after that. Got a little bit stronger and stronger. I think he wanted to stay in the game. It's a good sign, but him not unraveling is part of this success story tonight.
All right, thank you.
Jason Beck.
Hey, AJ, I know we talk a lot about aggressive base running, but it seemed like Victor Reyes hitting the brakes there helped you guys kind of set up a little miscue on their part and kind of set that inning in motion.
It did. I thought Victor did a good job, and everybody in the dugout, everybody at first base, I think KB and Scope, everybody was telling Victor get to second base. So avoiding the tag was a huge part of that inning. He advanced and then got in on a sac fly. So I think our base running in general, Robbie's stolen base when the opportunity came up late in the game, and again, it's a mindset that I feel good about with our team, that we now settle in, that we can make things happen on the bases and it can pay off.
What was the approach against Rodon? I know even before that inning, I think you guys worked 30 pitches against him in the 2nd without a ball in play. I think it was 4-3-2 counts. Was there a patience again, making him come to you guys, or?
So you have to be, we have to be careful how you attack Rodon. When he's on and he's filling up the strike zone, you can't wait around for the 2-strike slider or the elevated fastball. When he's not, and I don't think he was particularly sharp tonight. I know he's been used sporadically and didn't look like he had picture perfect command. You do want to wait him out and try to make him make pitches if you can. Ball's moving all over the place. He's got really good secondary pitches. You got to go up with a pretty clean approach on where the plate is and how to go after. Doesn't mean you're just going to take strike one. So if we face him in the last weekend, we may be swinging 0-0, but you do need to know where the plate is and where the strike zone is.
Given where your bullpen is and how it's been worked the last few days, were you thinking Alex Lang is a 9th inning candidate, or did the situation kind of come together given the score and how late you guys came ahead and the spot in the order where you guys were at?
Yeah. So I wasn't going to pitch Funk. I wasn't going to pitch Fulmer today. And that left the rest of the guys, and I'm going to use them in random times. I could have used them in the 6th or 7th if the inning would have played out, or the games would have played out differently. As the game was going, I started to map out the game where Kroll was going to get the 6. I wanted Hutch for as long as we needed, and if we hadn't scored, Hutch was going to go back out, and Lang would have had the extra inning game if we didn't win it in the 9th. So mapping this out is, you have to be a little creative, but it worked out perfectly with where we were with the lefties and Alex being able to come in at those strikes.
Thanks, AJ.
Cody Stavenhagen.
AJ, what has made Grossman a savvy base stealer this year?
He's just really smart. I mean, he's aggressive enough without being erratic. He watches, he pays attention, he studies. He's patient. His heart rate's low when he's playing the game, and it allows him to make really good decisions on when he can take an opportunity and what he's looking for. I think most people think speed, or most people can outrun a lot of different things. He's not the fastest, but he's fast enough. But his IQ on the bases is pretty sharp, and I think that pays off whenever the game's going pretty fast, and he can slow it down and make the right decision on what to read and when to go.
You mentioned it, but people don't beat Kimbrel very often. Harold's done it twice this year. How cool is that to see?
Yeah, it's not, I wouldn't sign up that for as a job. That's not easy. Harold's got him twice, but obviously Harold needed some help with Robbie getting on base and getting to second. But I mean, everybody in the ballpark, or anybody, you guys covering us, the team, when he got to second, like, who do you want up to get a single? And for me, it's Harold Castro.
All right, thank you.
Who's pitching?
Time for a couple more. Steve Kornacki.
Hey, AJ, talk about Rodon was just mowing the first 2 innings. He had 5 strikeouts, and you got your number 8, 9 hitter coming up, and they get a walk and a single, and they get everything started.
Right.
And that's kind of amazing, isn't it? That those guys had that kind of confidence.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously he's a tough pitcher, and he can get some strikeouts in a hurry. But we can score from any part of the order. We've shown that, and our guys had a good approach with him. It's what we needed. We needed somebody to start off something positive and then build off of that. Esau getting the walk was key, and off we go. So it doesn't matter who's up or what part of the order that we're in. We do feel like we can create some momentum in a lineup and build an inning from anywhere.
You probably never get tired of talking about Miggy milestones, but he got his 1800th RBI on that sacrifice fly. I mean, that's just, and that's the most important stat in baseball, isn't it? The RBI. Do you think?
You know what? I like when runs score. I like runs, and obviously being there in the batter's box when you have an opportunity to score runs is huge. And Miggy's putting up some really big numbers, passing some really big thresholds. And when you map it out, and everybody talks about the 100 RBIs, and you're like, man, it's 18 seasons of that. I think we're watching, an incredible player who's, clearly still contributing, but it's almost unfathomable when you really look at the big numbers that he's accumulating.
And Manning had the one rough inning, but he limited it, and he settled down the next 2 innings. How do you assess his outing?
Yeah, no, I like Matt Manning's outing. Even after the 3 runs, he settled in and got to the 5th through the 5th inning. So he's learning, and he's mature, and he's growing. He's not perfect. He doesn't need to be. It's just like any young pitcher. He's learning on the fly, and pitching as deep into the season as he's ever pitched. So he competes, and he wants to be perfect, but I love how he bounced back from the adversity. That's a key takeaway.
Thanks, KJ.
Wrap up with Trevor Thompson.
AJ, and just speaking with Alex Lang on the field, he said he was very emotional, and asked him how he kept his emotions in check on the mound. What did you see as far as him keeping his emotions in check, and what you got out of him in the ninth today?
Yeah, I mean, I know it. All this matters to him. He wants to be here so bad. He wants to establish himself. I love that about him. His heart rate wasn't racing. I'm sure his mind was a little bit. He's in the big leagues. He's closing a game for the first time in his life, and he's doing it against a first place club. So I thought he did well. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. He's always pretty intense, pretty focused, but his heart rate's starting to come down a little bit in those moments. That's going to be key for his development.
And as far as having him show the ability to do that tonight and other options that you may have back there, how does that help you out as far as planning down the stretch here with the guys you've got out of the lineup?
We need as many guys throwing the ball well as we can. So we'll mix and match and figure out where they're best suited to pitch. But having more options that are pitching well is going to be key for us these next dozen games or whatever it is.
Thanks, AJ.
Yep.
All right, so we got AJ. Thanks for the time. We'll have a player next.